The second 18-year-old Piper Halston said that in my Manhattan family courtroom, the room went dead still. I was on the bench. I was in my robe. I had my file open in front of me. The clock on the wall kept ticking, but nobody else moved. Piper stood there in a cream coat that cost more than most people's rent, with her blonde hair pulled into a sharp little bow at the back, her chin tipped up like the world owed her something. She was small in size, but not in attitude. Her face had that polished rich girl shine. Her nails were pale pink. Her boots were white and spotless, even on a wet city day. And her eyes told me one thing right away. She did not think rules were for her. I'm Judge Judy. I've spent my life looking straight through noise and nonsense. I know entitlement when I see it. I know disrespect when I hear it. And on that gray morning in Manhattan family court, I had both standing right in front of me. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, you'll want to see what happens next. The courtroom smelled like wet wool coats and old paper. The benches were half full. A few people leaned forward before the case even started because they could feel the heat coming off that table. My bailiff, Officer Lennox Cole, stood near the rail with his hands clasped in front of him, calm as ever. He called it out in a clear voice. Case 2026, TR 48117, petition for reckless endangerment of a minor, property damage, and harassment, Maribel Soto versus Piper Halston. I looked down at the defense table. Good morning, Ms. Halston. She did not say good morning back. She gave me a slow look, then glanced at her phone screen before her lawyer nudged her elbow. Morning, she said, like I was holding up her coffee order. Then I turned to the petitioner. Maribel Soto was 44 years old. She wore a plain navy coat with one button hanging loose by a thread. Her hands were rough, the hands of a woman who worked for every dollar. She had dark circles under her eyes, but she stood straight. She worked mornings as a school crossing guard and nights at a laundromat 3 blocks from her apartment. She was raising her 10-year-old grandson, Luis, because her daughter was in a long treatment program trying to get her life back. Maribel was in my court because she said Piper tore through a school zone in a luxury coupe, destroyed Luis's science fair project, sent the boy into an asthma attack, and then insulted them both when they begged her to stop. Luis sat beside his grandmother in a sweater that was a little too big. He clutched a folder to his chest with both hands. He had that tight, careful look kids get when life has already taught them too much. An inhaler rested on the table near him. Piper noticed him looking her way and rolled her eyes. That was not lost on me. I asked Maribel to tell me what happened. She took one breath and began. It had happened outside Hudson River Charter Prep, where she worked the morning crosswalk. Rain had turned into dirty street slush. Kids were crossing. Luis was next to her, holding a trifold science board he had made from old cardboard and colored paper. He had stayed up late finishing it. The project was about how clean water filters work. He wanted a ribbon. He had never won one before. Then Piper's silver Valmont coupe came fast around the corner. She was looking down at her phone, Maribel said. She did not stop when I raised my sign. She sprayed slush all over us, clipped my folding cart, and the board flew right into the street. Luis got scared. He started wheezing. I yelled for her to stop, and she stopped half a car length later. I turned to Piper. Is any part of that false? Piper leaned back and crossed one leg over the other. This is so dramatic. I barely touched a cart. Nothing hit the kid. That was the first disrespect. Small, sharp, meant to belittle. I kept my tone even. You will answer what I ask, not what sounds cute in your head. A soft murmur moved through the gallery. Somebody cleared a throat. Piper smirked. Maribel went on. She said Piper stepped out, looked at the ruined project in the gutter, and laughed. Then she said, "Can you just buy the boy another volcano or whatever?" Luis whispered, "It wasn't a volcano." I heard him. So did Piper. She looked at him and said, "See, he's fine." That was enough for me to open the first evidence envelope. Evidence number 1, I said. School zone camera record and security still. The clerk handed it up. I looked at the print first, then I held it so the room could follow. Timestamp 7:43 a.m. Posted zone speed 15 mph. Piper Halston's coupe 32 mph. The next image showed her car halfway over the crosswalk line with her left hand on the wheel and a bright phone screen in her right hand. I turned it toward Piper. "That's your car? Obviously, that's your face?" She shrugged. "Looks like me on a bad angle." "No, it looks like you breaking the law in front of children." Her jaw tightened. "My dad's security drives faster than that. I'm not interested in your father's security. Before I go one step farther, if you think nobody should get special treatment in my courtroom, press like right now? I had a feeling this case was only getting uglier. Piper gave a laugh that was almost a snort. Can we please not pretend this is some life-changing tragedy? It's cardboard. It's slush. Manhattan survived. Maribel's lips pressed together so hard they nearly vanished. Luis lowered his eyes to the table. I hate cruelty more than I hate noise. Cruelty tells me a person knows someone else is hurting and steps harder anyway. I asked Maribel what happened after the car stopped. She got out and said I should have moved faster, Maribel told me. I said children had the right of way. She said children in this city should learn not to stand where expensive cars go. Luis was crying. He could not catch his breath. I asked her to call 911. She tossed me two $100 bills and said, use that for whatever poor people use. That stirred the room. A woman on the second bench gasped. Officer Cole glanced toward the gallery without moving his feet. Piper spoke before I called on her. That did not happen like that. Then how did it happen? I asked. I was trying to help, she said. I offered cash. Some people prefer cash. Some people prefer dignity, I said. That was when Piper's lawyer stood and tried to soften the edges. He said his client was young. He said emotions were high. He said no contact had been made with the child. He said maybe everyone should focus on resolution, not outrage. I have no patience for lawyers who dress up bad conduct in pretty paper. Sit down, I told him. I haven't asked you for a speech. He sat. Then I opened the second packet. Evidence number 2, I said. Texts and call records from Ms. Halston's phone produced under court order. For the first time, Piper stopped looking bored. I read the first text out loud. It was sent 2 minutes after the incident to a contact saved as Sloan B. Some crosswalk lady and her coupon kid are milking a splash like I ran them over. The gallery reacted before I did. Just a sound. One of those low, angry sounds people make when they hear meanness without a mask on it. Piper sat up. That text was private. Not anymore. I read the next one. If this turns into a thing, Dad's office can bury it. Then I looked at the call log. 3 calls placed within 9 minutes to a number listed under Wade Mercer, chief aide to Senator Grant Halston. I raised my eyes. You called your father's office before you called emergency services. Piper's face turned pink. I didn't know the kid needed emergency services. He had an asthma attack. I'm not a doctor. No, I said. You're just reckless. That was our second confrontation. It was bigger. The challenge was not just to the victim now, it was to my authority. Piper leaned in and showed me who she thought really mattered. You keep saying my father like it's a dirty word, she said. Do you even know how much he does for this city? I know this case is about what you did. My family funds schools, and yet you sped through one. Her voice got harder. You can't make an example out of me just because my last name is Halston. I looked straight at her. No, Ms. Halston, your behavior is doing that all by itself. Luis coughed into his sleeve. Maribel rubbed his back without taking her eyes off the table. She was trying not to cry. I could see it. Trying not to cry in court is one of the hardest things in the world because the room is already holding all your fear for you. I asked Maribel if Luis had needed treatment that day. She opened a bill and handed it up. Urgent care, breathing treatment, replacement inhaler, follow-up visit. She also showed me a receipt for the science board materials and a broken pair of the boy's glasses. Luis wanted to go to school anyway, she said softly. He said maybe the teacher would let him explain without the project, but he was shaking too hard. Luis finally looked up at me. I worked on it 3 weeks, he said. Piper let out a breath through her nose, impatient like she was trapped in the world's slowest elevator. That told me she still didn't get it. If you're feeling the heat in this room with me, subscribe now. What came next was no small slip. It was contempt with a smile on its face. I moved to the third part of the case. Ms. Soto, I said, what happened after the cash was offered? Maribel swallowed. I told her we did not want her money like that. I wanted her to wait for the police and tell the truth. She told me to watch my tone. Luis said, please, my board. Then she said, Maribel stopped. Her mouth shook. I asked gently, what did she say? Maribel looked at Luis, then back at me. She said, the board looks like garbage anyway, just like this whole corner. Piper threw up her hands. That is not what I said. I nodded toward the clerk. Then let's look at evidence number 3. It was a short video from a bakery delivery van parked at the curb. The driver, a man named Thomas Bell, had also given a witness statement. The camera angle was sideways, but clear enough. The coupe splashed in, the cart tipped, the science board hit the street. Maribel waved both arms. Piper got out of the car. Even without perfect sound, her body language said plenty. Then the audio track from the van's outside mic kicked in. There was Piper's voice. "Don't point that stop sign at me." Then Maribel saying, "There are children here." Then Louise crying. Then Piper again, clear as day. "Oh my God, it's paper and glue. Buy him a new one." Maribel asked her to stay. Then came the line about poor people. Then this. Maybe a few people spent less time begging and more time parenting. This wouldn't happen. The room snapped. Maribel covered her mouth. Louise went still as stone. Piper's lawyer stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. "Your Honor?" "Sit down." He sat. I kept the video rolling. The driver's camera caught Piper tossing cash. It fluttered into a puddle. Maribel did not touch it. Then Piper got back in her car. Before the clip ended, she looked toward Louise and said, "Try not to stand in front of things nicer than you." That was the third confrontation. That was the line crossed. Not just rude, not just careless, cruel, direct, cold. The gallery no longer murmured. It buzzed, low at first, then louder. I put up one hand. The room obeyed, but barely. I turned to Piper. "Did you say those words?" Her throat moved. For 1 second, I thought maybe shame had finally found a door. Then she made the worst choice of the morning. She looked at Maribel. If she didn't want to be spoken to like that, maybe she should stop acting like parking lot trash. That did it. A man in the back said, "Wow," under his breath. A woman near the aisle muttered, "Shame on you." Officer Cole shifted one step closer to the defense table. I leaned forward. "Ms. Halston, one more outburst like that, and you will discover exactly how serious I can be." She laughed, actually laughed. Then I asked the question that mattered most. "Why didn't you call for help when the child was wheezing?" Her answer came fast and ugly. "Because I knew this was a setup. People see a nice car and smell money." Maribel spoke up for the first time with anger in her voice. "We were trying to get a boy to school." Piper swung toward her. "You were trying to cash in." I cut in. "Stop." Piper did not stop. She pointed one glossy finger across my courtroom and said, "This whole thing is a circus for poor people who think tears are a career." That was when I saw Louise flinch. Children remember moments like that. Long after bills are paid, long after bruises fade, they remember being looked at like they are less. I told Piper to sit back and keep quiet. Instead, she looked up at me with that same spoiled little smile and delivered the line that opened this story. "My father's vote matters more than your gavel ever will." For 10 full seconds, nobody breathed right. The silence was so complete, I could hear the old vent above the side door rattling. One of the clerks froze with a pen halfway over a page. Maribel stared like she had stopped understanding English. Louise blinked hard once, then twice. Piper's lawyer went white. Officer Cole's face did not change, but his shoulders squared. Then the gallery erupted. Gasps, angry whispers. One loud, "No way," from the back row. A woman slapped her own chest like the words had hit her there, and my face changed. I felt it happen. The softness left. The room felt smaller, colder, sharper. I took off my reading glasses and set them down very carefully on the bench. When I spoke, I did not raise my voice. I did not need to. Share this with someone who still thinks money can smooth over everything. The next few words changed the course of this whole case. "Ms. Halston," I said, "look at me." She tried to hold the stare, tried and failed. "Piper Halston, let me explain something to you in very simple words. This courtroom does not belong to your father. It does not belong to your last name. It does not belong to your car, your coat, your phone, or your family's checkbook. It belongs to the law. And the law has no interest in how important you think you are." She opened her mouth. I stopped her with one finger. "No, you've had plenty to say. Now you listen to me. You drove 32 in a 15-mile zone where children were crossing. You looked at your phone instead of the road. You frightened a 10-year-old boy. You damaged his school project. You ignored his breathing trouble. Then you tossed money at his grandmother and said, 'Use that for whatever poor people use.' Then you called him a coupon kid. Then you said this was a circus for poor people. Then you told this court, 'Your father's vote matters more than my gavel.' Those are your words, Piper. Yours. I let that sit. You know what Maribel Soto did that morning while you were flying through that crosswalk? She was working. She was protecting children before most of the city had finished breakfast. She works 2 jobs. She is raising a child who needs safety, medicine, and respect. She gets up every day and does what needs to be done. That is dignity. That is character. That is worth. And you, Piper, looked at all of that and saw something beneath you. Piper's eyes filled, but I was not interested in pretty tears now. You have money, fine. You have connections, fine. None of that gives you the right to talk down to people who carry heavier loads than you could imagine. Respect is not something poor people owe rich people. Respect is what every human being is due. Humility means knowing you are not the center of the world. Equality means the stop sign is for you too. The crosswalk is for you too. The rules are for you too. Do you understand me, Piper? Very quietly, she said, yes. I was not finished. No, Piper, I don't think you do. Because if you understood, you would have stopped. If you understood, you would have called for help. If you understood, you would not have used a child's fear as a chance to show off your contempt. Piper Halston, this is not a manners problem anymore. This is a character problem. Then I delivered the reckoning she had earned. Here is my ruling. First, restitution. You will pay Maribel Soto, and on behalf of Louise Soto, the sum of $8,240. That amount covers urgent care, breathing treatment, replacement inhaler, broken glasses, destroyed school materials, lost wages, 12 counseling sessions for the child, and repair to the damaged crossing barrier. Full payment through the clerk. Not through your father, not through an aide, not through a family office, through you. Piper looked stunned. Second, your driving privilege is suspended for 14 months effective today. For the first 9 months, there will be no hardship exception, none. After that, you may apply for review only if you complete a defensive driving course, 40 observation hours with a certified school crossing team, and all other conditions of this court. I heard someone in the gallery whisper, good. Third, community service, 160 hours. You will serve at the Manhattan Safe Step Center on Mercer Plaza. Your schedule will be every Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and every Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Duties will include assembling child safety kits, cleaning training equipment, setting cones for mock crosswalk drills, and assisting staff during youth traffic lessons. Director Helen Park will supervise you. Your attendance log will be signed each shift and sent to this court every Monday by 9 a.m. Piper had gone pale. Fourth, public accountability. You will write 2 handwritten apologies, one to Maribel Soto, one to Louise Soto. Each must be at least 2 full pages. No typing, no assistant, no lawyer language, your own hand, your own words. You will also give a 3-minute court-approved talk at 6 Manhattan middle schools about reckless driving, respect, and the lie that status makes a person better than someone else. Those talks will be scheduled by the clerk. Your script must be approved by this court. I paused, then added the part made for her behavior. Fifth, special conditions. For 12 weeks, you will travel to service by subway or on foot. No chauffeur, no car service, no driver. During service hours, your phone will be surrendered to your supervisor. You will attend 8 weeks of decision-making and accountability counseling at the Family Guidance Center. And you will have no direct contact with Maribel Soto or Louise Soto except through the apology process ordered by this court. Then I addressed contempt. And because you insulted this court and challenged the rule of law in open session, I find you in direct contempt. Piper's head jerked up. What? You heard me? Her lawyer rose again. Your Honor, I asked the court to reconsider denied. I looked to Officer Cole. Take Ms. Halston into custody. The room pulled tight. Officer Cole stepped forward, calm and steady. Piper backed up 1 step. You can't be serious. I held her gaze. I have never been more serious. He placed her hands behind her back. The cuffs clicked shut, bright and cold against her pale wrists. She gasped at the sound more than the feel of them. That click echoed in the room like a lesson. Her coat bunched at the shoulders. Her perfect hair bow slipped a little loose. Ms. Halston will serve 48 hours in city custody, I said. Review hearing, June 18th at 9:30 a.m. Remove her. As Officer Cole turned her toward the side door, Piper finally looked scared. Not annoyed, not offended, scared. Real consequences had reached her at last. If you've stayed with me this far, drop a like for every working person who has ever been looked down on and kept going anyway. I still wasn't done with what this case had to teach. 3 months later, Piper Halston stood in front of me again for review. I almost did not recognize her. The coat was gone, so were the white boots. She wore a plain gray sweater, black pants, and flat shoes with creases in them. Her hair was tied back with a simple band, no shiny bow, no heavy makeup, no bored face. She held a paper folder in both hands like it mattered, because now it did. Director Helen Park had sent logs. Every shift complete, no lateness, no skipped Saturdays, no complaints. I had proof Piper had stacked safety pamphlets, scrubbed gum off training mats, packed inhaler kits for school nurses, and stood in the rain handing out bright crossing flags to parents. I also had proof she had given 4 of the 6 school talks already. The school notes said the students listened. One principal wrote, "She did not perform. She told the truth." Payment records showed the full restitution had been made in installments from an account in Piper's own name, not one transfer from a family trust. I learned later she had sold designer bags and taken part-time work in a bookstore to finish it. Good. Pain teaches where comfort fails. Then I read the apology letters. Luis's letter was the one that made me stop for a second. She wrote in careful handwriting, "I looked at you and saw someone I thought I did not have to care about. I was wrong. You were a child on your way to school. I made a scary moment worse because I cared more about myself than your safety. You did not deserve my words. Nobody does." When I asked Maribel if she wished to speak, she stood and said, "I still remember what she said that day. I still do." But Luis wanted me to tell the court that Miss Halston came to his school and told the truth in front of everyone. He said she looked at him when she apologized this time. That mattered. I looked at Piper. "Have you learned something?" "Yes, Your Honor," she said. And there was no edge in it now. More than I wanted to, more than I knew I needed. I believed her, not because she cried. I have seen too many tears used like tools. I believed her because the work was there. The subway card receipts were there. The hours were there. The letters were there. The shame had turned into effort. That is the only kind of sorry I respect. Later, after the courtroom emptied and the benches were still, I sat alone for one quiet minute. That happens sometimes. After the noise, after the ruling, after everybody carries their pain or relief back out into Manhattan. I thought about Maribel standing in the cold, doing her job. I thought about Luis holding his broken project and trying to be brave. I thought about Piper hearing handcuffs close on her wrists and finally understanding that a famous last name is not a shield. Justice is not about making rich people poor or poor people powerful. It is about putting every person on the same line and saying, "Here, this is where dignity begins. This is where excuses end. This is where respect lives." In my courtroom, money can buy a coat, a car, a lawyer, and a very foolish kind of confidence. It cannot buy worth, and it sure cannot buy mercy from me.